But so lighting and color really captivates a lot of things. Anyone seen the Grand Budapest Hotel?
I think I'm supposed to have seen it, but I don't think I did.
So the Grand Budapest Hotel just shows something a little lighthearted compared to those first three things I showed. Grand Budapest Hotel. Just want to find a picture of it. Okay, we're going to run the trailer without any music or anything, or any sound. I just want to talk about the color, the use of color and whimsy. This is a world that the movie itself, the plot line is a little bit dark because someone's died. I should also be in that. Someone important has died, and they think the Ralphien has killed her, but he hasn't. It's very lighthearted, very whimsical, Wes Anderson. So even though there's like a really dark, almost somber story to it, the world itself, the characters live in, the way they carry themselves is a very bright, whimsical thing. So if we look at the colors, we'll see that even through a dark story, the use of bright colors captures the imagination. It makes you think, and it gets you going. It lets you find comedy things. Just because the colors are very vibrant, the colors are very lively, scenes are played out for comedy. Color and lighting affects a lot of perception. If you see something that's a lot darker, you're more inclined to think it's dark. Think of the comic book example. If you see something that's drawn in a darker, grittier style, right off the bat, you know this is probably going to be more intense. See something drawn lighter, more lighthearted, like the difference between Squirrel Girl and the Avengers, for example. Avengers is probably a bad example. I probably come up with something better, but you get what I'm driving at. Oops. Okay. Lighting and color. Actually, speaking of light, I'll get back to the light. Where are my oopsies? Also, something that books do better than movies is build suspense. So who here, I'm assuming everyone here's seen Jurassic Park? Raise your hand if you haven't.
It's been a long time.
But you've seen it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing that I love about Jurassic Park, you haven't seen it? You haven't seen it?
What? Okay, yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, okay, then why would you raise your hand? So why'd you ask me
There's really simple instructions.
So one thing that Jurassic Park is shining is they build suspense very well. Let's think about Jurassic Park. We're kids probably, right? It came out, I think, 97, something like that. So most of us were pretty young back then. Yeah, well, you probably saw it when you were a little older than that, I'm assuming. But, so this whole movie we're shown dinosaurs have been brought back to life. For most kids, their favorite dinosaur was the Tyrannosaurus Rex. For everyone in Jurassic Park, they were most excited. No, I'm not a T-Rex fan either. Like, I like them, but I'm a Triceratops guy.
That's respectable. I was a Velociraptor kind of guy.
Fair enough. But, so, a lot of people are looking for, including the characters in the movie, are looking forward to seeing the T-Rex more than almost anything. But when they get to the T-Rex exhibit, there's nothing there. Oh, must not be here. They leave a goat to the post. The screen pans away, pans back, it's gone, leaves are rustling. You're like, oh shit, there is a T-Rex after all, you know? Like, it's not just some minute. And then we get to the most famous scene of Jurassic Park. And that's the thing I want to point out. If you think back on the most iconic shots in movie history, you don't think of that. But like just thinking of some famous scenes like across all media, a lot of them are tied into suspense. Like the Jurassic Park scene I'm about to show. Jaws, the shark coming up under the surface. That's all suspense. The Shining, where he's bashing through the door screaming, "Here's Johnny!" Like a lot of these famous shots are based off the thrill of the suspense, because we know what's coming, and even then we can't be fully prepared for it. Jurassic Park, T-Rex breakout. Sorry, that's how I think.
I need you to do title cards for every movie now.
Oh, that'd be a dream. Again, Wendy's. So I guess what you guys should know about me, I didn't mention this in my initial blurb, is that I'm actually sponsored by Wendy's. I'm John Silvestri, I drive NASCAR on the weekends, and I drive the Wendy's car. This is the famous scene.
inside of the car. What I think is.
Where does he think he's going? You gotta go, you gotta.
So, first thing first, just again, going back to the keynote of Inglourious Basterds, you see there's a lot of the same similar elements to create the tension there. There was no music, there was the bleak lighting, a very claustrophobic setting where they're inside the car, and again, that suspenseful buildup. Slow pan to the goat, up to T-Rex's leg. Well, next thing you know, it's breaking through. The figure who's supposed to be all composed books it. And that, of course, is one of the most iconic movie shots, is the water rippling. And at the time, that blew my mind as a child, just the build-up. So going back, we've been talking about camera shots for a while. I put my two favorite types of shots here. But camera shots and angles mean a lot when it comes to directing the viewer. Because one thing that movies really do is they direct you. They don't just direct the film, obviously, but they guide the audience. They show you what you should be focusing on. They hide certain things in the background, which makes it rewarding to find. So obviously the close-up is a very important shot. Bring it in on a character's face. You can see what they're thinking, see what they're feeling. It really lets you capture that body language a little more importantly. There's the slow pan, which is obviously very dramatic, used for big reveals. And on top of that, as you've seen in both examples now, they use the slow pan, first down the guy's leg and table, then up the T-Rex. A lot of the time, it's obscured to what you're actually going to. Because the first time all you're seeing is the pan leg, the corduroy, until eventually you get to the floor. Then you're going through the floor, and that's when you first find out that there's Jews hiding under the floorboards. The second time, you're going up, you're past the car, the windshield, the arms, until eventually you see the T-Rex claw and the T-Rex itself. So that's a very dramatic tool for bringing it up. There's the circle shot, which is used to establish. It's like in Inglourious Basterds, when they circle around the table all the way through the cabin, it basically gives you a sense for the setting. That's very useful in certain shots to, for example, show off a claustrophobic setting, or to show that the exact opposite, that you're not in a claustrophobic setting at all, or even just to give you a sense of place and scale of where you're at and what's happening there. And then the two shots I really want to talk about are the tracking shot and the Dutch tilt. So the Dutch tilt is a very complex name for something very simple. It means the camera is crooked. So that's usually used to imply disorientation. A lot of times they will do a Dutch tilt along with, I forget what the effect is called, but it's I think it's a rack focus issue, where basically they randomly switch the focus between foreground, background, middle ground, and they alternate it, so it creates a very disoriented, like a vertigo almost effect. Dutch tilt. The two of those, has anyone seen Jessica Jones on Netflix? So if you've seen Jessica Jones, in the very beginning of the series, when she was hunting for, basically the point is she was mind controlled by a supervillain ages ago, and now she's paranoid about it. It's the really, really basic synopsis. It's a couple times where she thinks he's back, and as she's walking down hallways, a lot of the time, it'll be on a Dutch tilt. A lot of the corners that she's walking to will be blurry until she gets there, then it'll come into focus, things behind her will come out of focus. It's a lot of these small things that you use to get you in the character's mind without realizing you're doing it. Because you get to the point, like because of the angle, because of the lighting, you don't know what's around the corner. And the tracking shot is meant to put you in the action. So basically, it's one fluid motion with the camera through a complex set. Famous example of that is True Detective tracking shot. I'm not gonna watch the whole thing. So a tracking shot makes it feel like you're there with the character. It's to create that fast-paced experience. Again, one fluid take. let's go. This is a award-winning, I believe, for being one of the longest tracking shots out there. And the fact that all this is captured in one take is very impressive from a back-end side of things. Those are my two favorite camera shots, are the tracking shot and the Dutch tilt. And there's one other one I love that I couldn't find a good example of, but that's the wide-angle shot. So that's when everything is super zoomed out. Obviously, that's used for showing extent of scale. Like, for example, Star Wars, wide-angle shot, you see huge armies, because that's Lord of the Rings, massive battles you can't even begin to fathom. But my personal love for it is, as my brother, who is a playwright, or aspiring playwright, he's only put on a couple of shows at his college, always says, everything is funnier in the wide angle. Like I said, I wish I had a picture to show you guys that, but if you super zoom something out and have one person doing something dumb really off in the background, it's naturally funnier. I can't figure out why. Like I said, I couldn't find a good example. Yeah. Basically, the last thing to talk about is music. Like we were talking about before, the lack of music makes things tense. Because music and editing are a big part of visuals. For example, what do you think Star Wars is like without the music? How many people get like excited when you hear the da 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 da? Just you hear that and you're like, oh, it's Star Wars. Indiana Jones music, same thing. Harry Potter, you hear that music, you're there, right? Obviously, it doesn't relate to just these things, but a lot of songs become almost. Think about the Breakfast Club. The Don't You Remember Me? A lot of people hear that song and go straight to Breakfast Club and vice versa, because it means a lot. And the thing is, music choice, just like how body language, we capture a lot from that. We capture a lot from music as well, the emotion it brings to the scene. Just for example, you can completely, with the good music and good editing, you can completely change the tone of something. For those of you familiar with Dumb and Dumber, you know this is way wrong.